Good morning, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Motivation with Mommy's Tea Time, where we inspire and empower moms to manifest the life that they want. I am your host, Ramika Latash, and today I am so excited. I'm excited about November. October was amazing. Before we get started, I just want to say that this show is sponsored by Happy Wrap. With the holidays approaching really fast, you can customize your wrapping paper for the holidays. It's for birthdays, for Christmas, for Thanksgiving, or if you just want to add a little touch to your business as a branding idea. You can put your logo on the wrapping paper and send out your journals or whatever. So if you're interested in checking out Happy Wraps, that's happywraps.com. And you can use the code Ramika Temple to get 10% off of your order. So we got that out the way. Now we can get started with our show. I'm very excited to have this guest. Our topic for today is overcoming challenges and building confidence, empowering moms to pursue their dreams. And we talk about this a lot, and you're going to hear it over and over again until you moms out there just get it and go ahead and move and get started. But I'm going to introduce our guest today. Her name is Ivy Perez. I don't know why I want to call her Ivory, but it's Ivy Perez. She's an aspiring mom, former marathoner, and triathlete athlete. I gotta get that right. With a passion for mental health and well-being, as an author and motivational speaker, Ivy is dedicated to helping women build trust, confidence in themselves through mindset shifts, movement, and daily success habits. Having achieved 6 years of sobriety, she understands the journey of overcoming personal challenges and now empower others to live purposefully. Ivy also supports women in conquering physical challenges like completing their first triathlon, and something she has done 3 times. Wow, we're excited to have her share her story and insight with us. Ivy, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ramika. This is so great. This is a long time coming. We've been trying
Yes,
to do this for a little while. So yay, we're here.
yes, yes. So Ivy is so sweet. We are in Ladies of Leadership group under the leadership of Nikki Cuesta. And Ivy is always giving inspirational talk to us, no matter who's on the call. Ivy always come in and always inspire the ladies on the show and always encouraging. So I took a liking to her right away before we even had a conversation, before we even met each other in person, which we just met in person probably 3 weeks ago. And it was like we already knew each other. So timing is everything. So
Yes.
now we have Ivy on the show. So I'm so excited to share her with you guys, so you can be inspired and empowered as much as she inspired and empowered me. So we're not going to hold you long. We just want to give you that motivation this Monday morning to push you to get you through the rest of the week. And hopefully, no, you will be transformed, empowered, and be ready to affirm some greatness in your life. So we're going to start with our first question with Ivy. As a mom, how do you balance your passion for fitness and mental wellness, being with the demands of family life? What tips can you share before moms struggling to find time for themselves? And this allow us to hear just your journey and how you got to this point.
Yeah, thank you.
Mhm.
You know, with family and kids, and for many women, a full-time job. It's like we have 15 jobs, but we only get paid for one.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's not easy. But for me, it came to a point about 6.5 years ago. This is when I let go of alcohol, when I had to really think about what was it that I valued, what was it that made me feel good. And I think a lot of times as mom, we put ourselves on the back burner. I mean, it's a normal thing. We want to take care of the family and take care of the household. We go to work, we do all these things, but then there's a part of us that gets dimmed and dimmed and dimmed, and we get to a point sometimes when we feel as if we don't matter, or that we're taken advantage of, or that we're just there to, cook, clean, and all the things. But when we find something, and sometimes we know what it is, sometimes it takes us a little like digging deep, but when we can find the thing that we really like to do, but maybe we haven't done it in a while, and we
Mm-hmm.
hone in on that and we start doing that, then we start to kind of awaken a part of us
Yeah.
that, has been lying dormant for a while. So for me, when I let go of alcohol, it was a big deal for me. Now, I wasn't like full blown alcoholic or anything like that, but I abused it for a long time, to a point where, and this was in my 30s, I'm going to be 55 this month.
What?
So, yes. So like in my 30s is when I realized I don't, I don't I don't think this is serving me. It's kind of like you have a realization there's something you're doing, and it doesn't have
Mm-hmm.
to be alcohol or smoking. It could be anger, it could be
Mm-hmm.
guilt, it could be
Mm-hmm.
shame, it could be overeating,
Mm-hmm.
emotional eating, being in
Yeah.
a toxic relationship. Sometimes we hold on to that relationship as much as we're like unhappy.
Yeah.
It's familiar. So
Yeah.
there's toxic relationships, there's toxic work environments, and we
Mm-hmm.
hold on to that because it's a paycheck, and we're like,
Yeah.
we don't want to let go of it, but yet we are unhappy.
Yeah.
These are all things that we need to let go of. For me, I knew it was alcohol.
Yeah.
And when I did in my 30s, when I realized like, wow, this is not serving me, it still took a long time, but it was
Mm-hmm.
that seed within myself that
Mm-hmm.
knew that, okay, this isn't serving me.
Yeah.
And when I let it go, I thought to myself, I was actually listening to James Clear. He wrote the book
Okay.
Atomic Habits. And I
Mm-hmm.
listened to a podcast, and he talked about the 2-minute rule.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember thinking to myself, now, mind you, this was 6 years ago or so. I
Yeah.
had done marathons. I did half marathons. I was active, not
Okay.
consistent. It was one of
Mm-hmm.
those things where I train for it, I do
Mm-hmm.
it, and then I stop. And then
Okay.
after a couple of years, I get the bug and I train for it, I do it, I
Mm-hmm.
stop.
Mm-hmm.
So the consistency, but I thought about that and I was like, can 2 minutes really be a game changer? Like, can two
Mm-hmm.
minutes really change your life? And that
Mm-hmm.
really struck me.
Yeah.
And I think for any woman that has come from a background of scarcity, where when you're growing up, it's all about the next meal,
Yeah.
or you don't know, or the family dynamics are toxic and you just don't
Mm-hmm.
know. Mom or dad could be an alcoholic, so you don't know who's coming through the door.
Yeah.
I live with that. So there was a lot of scarcity. There was a lot of all of that. And
Mm-hmm.
so I got to a point where the 2-minute rule, just for whatever reason, like really, really struck me. And I thought, okay, I value exercise. I may not do it every day, but I value it. And
Mm-hmm.
I value taking care of yourself, because what I saw growing up was anything but. Nobody was taking care of themselves. I had
Right.
cousins and family members that were like thin in their 20s and 30s. And
Mm-hmm.
then you see them later on, and it's like, wow, what happened?
Happen. Yeah.
Yeah, like what happened? I understand, life and all
Life.
the things, but for me, it was kind of like I value that. So I thought, you know
Mm-hmm.
what? Not that I thought experiment, but I said, I'm going to get up every morning and do 2 minutes of stretching. I'm just going
Yeah.
to say 2 minutes. And
Mhm.
I did that, and I did it like day in and day out and for weeks. And then it became like the thinking, the conscious part of our brain that has to like, it's like driving a car. You have to think with the hands and look at the mirror and look at the side view mirror and the foot and this and that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like, you have to think about it until
Yeah.
now, where you can talk on the phone, you can
Mhm.
drive, you can eat a sandwich and all these things,
Mhm.
because it's automatic. It
Yeah.
started to get to a point where I wasn't really thinking about it. I just got out of bed, I got on the floor,
Mhm.
and I did 2 minutes of stretching.
Mhm.
And I'm like, okay, but there was a shift in me. And this is what I tell everybody. 2 minutes is so powerful because you get to a point, you have to be consistent with it. You
Yes.
get to a point where there's a shift in you, and you're like, I'm doing this for like 4 weeks or 6 weeks, or
Mhm. Mhm.
wow, like I can do this. We're so
Yeah.
worried about taking care of everyone else and doing for everybody,
Yeah.
but we don't take care of ourself. And I don't mean just ourself, like
So,
who we are.
yes.
And so I got to doing that, and I got 2 minutes led to five, and five led to 10. And then I was doing yoga. Yoga was really big for me
Mhm.
for
Mhm.
so many reasons. It would ground me, it would center me.
Yeah.
And I always too, if anyone has come from trauma in their background,
Mhm.
yoga, oh my gosh, because you have to slow down. You
Yeah.
have to hold your poses. Again, that's a
Mhm.
trust within yourself. And
Yeah.
then you get strong. And you're in poses sometimes when you're kind of like, you can't hold it or you're wobbling, but
Mhm.
but then you do it. And that's the
Yeah.
whole thing. Then you do it. And then you
Yeah.
do it again. And then it's just the quiet time. You focus on your breathing. These are things we're not taught to do. But
Yeah.
once we do it, we're like, whoa, I'm doing something for me. You don't
Mhm.
think that, but you feel it. And
Yeah.
then it's the thinking. And that was the transition for me. And I was like, whoa. And then it became, let me start going back outside and go for a walk and go for a run.
Mm. Yeah.
And those are the things that it just built my confidence and self-trust in
Yeah.
myself. And I realized, I'm like, oh my gosh, coming from trauma and all of
Yeah.
that in my background,
Yeah.
I got a sense of me
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah.
Just a couple of minutes on the floor, I got a sense
Mhm.
of me and trusting me and having a confidence in me. You could be confident to the outside world, and people
Yes.
will look at you all day long and they're like, whoa,
Mhm.
how do you do that? How can
Yeah.
you juggle all this and that? Like, you're amazing. You're
Mm.
this, you're that.
Yeah.
You can do that. But then
Yeah.
when you're home,
Mhm.
how do you feel about you?
Yeah.
How do you feel
Yeah.
about you? And
Yeah.
that was the shift in me, and that was a game changer for me. Something so simple as
Mhm.
2 minutes. It started with 2 minutes, but then it's the snowball. Then you get to a place, and it took about, I don't know, maybe it was, I'm gonna say roughly 6 months when the thought of
Mhm.
doing a triathlon came up.
Mm.
Now that seed was planted in my head when I was like 21. There
Yeah.
was a guy in the office that did a triathlon. He must have saw my jaw drop, because to me at the time, a triathlon, I only knew of Ironman, which is like the big kahuna. That's
Mhm.
swimming 2.4 miles, biking 112 miles, and then doing a full marathon. That's when I heard triathlon, that's what I thought. But there's levels to it. I didn't know that at the time. I know this now. And he said he did. He goes, oh yeah, I had a great weekend. I did a triathlon. I'm like,
Mhm.
and he saw that and he smiled and he looked at me and he goes, you should try it one day, Ivy. And it
Mhm.
was at that moment that a seed was planted, unbeknownst
Right.
to me, because in the decades since, there's been a lot of life, a
Yeah.
lot of failure, a
Yeah.
lot of errors in judgment, and
Yeah.
you learn. But then I got to a point when I let go of the
Mhm.
alcohol, which
Mhm.
for a while was fun and I enjoyed it, and it was a
Yeah.
social thing. But it
Yeah.
got to a point where I knew that it
Mhm.
wasn't serving. I just knew it wasn't serving me. And then it
Yeah.
still took a long time for me to
Mm.
let go. And then
Mhm.
once I did, it's like, okay, now what?
Yeah.
Who am
Yeah.
I without it? Who am
Mhm.
I? Who am I? I have
Mhm.
no idea. And
Mhm.
that's when that came up and that little bit. And then the triathlon, I'm like, can I do it? And then I looked into it and there was different levels. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. And I did it 1 month shy of my 53rd birthday.
Nice.
It's crazy. And
Mhm.
the thing is when I decided to do it, when I said, okay, I'm going to do it. I didn't know how to swim. I'm still not
Yeah.
a great swimmer, but I didn't
Mhm.
know how to swim. This was just a couple of
Wow.
years ago. I didn't own a bike. I hadn't been
Mhm.
on a bike since, I don't know, since I was a kid, maybe
Yeah.
once or twice.
Mhm.
I don't know, as an adult, but really as a kid, I hadn't been on a bike.
Yeah.
Running was okay, wasn't consistent. So
Mhm.
I was like, God, I don't know how I'm going to do this,
Yeah.
but let me start with let me register. And that's
Mhm.
the thing. See the secret sauce that I realized as an adult
Mhm.
that they don't teach us as kids is the
Mhm.
action part. We
Yep.
get told, you need to do this and you got to do that and
Mhm.
you got to do this and you should do
Mhm.
that. We get that all the time. And we're like, okay, okay, okay.
Right.
But how? Show me
Yeah.
how. Teach me how. Hold my hand a little bit as a kid. Lead me.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what to do. Okay, that sounds great for me to do that. But, and then you go off and you do your thing. You go to school and you forget. So
Mhm.
now as an adult, I realized, oh my God, it's the action. You can
Yep.
think all day long what you want. You can dream all day long what you want.
Yeah.
You can write things down all day long what you
Yeah.
want, but not until
Mhm.
you take an action step,
Yeah.
just one.
Mhm.
And for me, it was the registering. So I
Yeah.
registered. I'm like, oh my God,
Mhm.
I registered for a triathlon. Like, oh my
Yeah.
God. So I'm like, okay. And that was in December. It wasn't until the race wasn't until the following September. So I had like practically a
Plenty of
year,
time.
but I
Yeah.
put it in my calendar in March. I wrote
Mhm.
it and I said, start training. So when March rolled around and I saw that, I'm like, ooh,
Mhm. Mhm.
okay. So, and I told no one knew. So I'm like, all right, Ivy, are you going to do it? Or are you
Yeah.
not? You registered. You don't have to say anything. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. But I don't own a bike. I don't know how to swim. But
Yeah.
I could go out for a walk. I could start there.
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
Mhm.
Was walking all the time. And
Mhm.
then I got like a membership at the community center. And I'm like,
Mhm.
okay. And swimming, I still don't like it. I
Mhm.
don't like the water. I don't like
Yeah.
getting in the water. I don't go to
Yeah.
the beach, nothing. I
Mhm.
don't like
Mhm.
it. And people are like, then why are you doing a triathlon? I'm like,
That's
because there's duathlon. There's two. You
okay.
could do run, bike. You don't have to get in the water. So there's
Okay.
duathlon. I'm like, it doesn't have the allure. It's not,
Mhm.
triathlon just is so big. And I'm like, I can't, I
Yeah.
got to do it. And
Yeah.
it was a big journey for me, like a big journey. But, I've learned, and I tell people, when you have something on your heart that pulls on you, there's a
Mhm.
reason for it. It's
Yes.
because it was meant for you. Because people
Yeah.
tell me all the time, that's so awesome that you're doing that. I wouldn't
Mhm.
want to do that. That's not for me. And
Mhm.
someone could be like wanting to, I don't know, be like the best public speaker, travel all over the world. That's
Mhm.
fantastic. I thought I wanted that, but I'm like, I don't want that.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
somebody will do whatever they can to go after that. And for me,
Yeah.
I'm like, this is just pulling at me. And sometimes I don't understand why. I
Mhm.
honestly, sometimes I'm like, why this? But
Yeah.
it's the one thing that keeps me active.
Yeah.
It challenges me.
Mhm.
I don't always enjoy it, but I know that as I age, just working out is good for me. Like there's so many positives.
Yeah.
And so at the beginning for me, I found it easier to show up on social media because my
Mhm.
energy was high. Even if it was just a walk, I'd go for a
Yeah.
walk, do a video, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, huh. And then just people were saying things to me like, oh my God, you're like inspiring me. And I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
just doing me.
Yeah.
But that's it's hard to explain. That's the gift. And I'm
Mhm.
just stepping into it, not knowing where it's going to go. I have no
Mhm.
idea where this is going. I just
Mhm.
take the action. I just do
Yeah.
something. So that's what I tell ladies, just do one thing And
Yeah.
with regard to exercise, just go for a walk. That's
Yeah.
it. That's
Yeah.
it. That's it. And before you know it, you go, maybe I'll jog a little bit,
Mhm.
a little bit.
Mhm.
Take five
Mhm.
steps. And
Right.
that's where it begins. And then you're like, whoa, I just did that. And then
Uh-huh.
I'm going to jog a little bit more. Before you know it, you're doing a little bit more. Who knows where
Mhm.
that will lead?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I know that was long winded.
No, it was great because um I understand exactly what you're saying. I wanted to find a way to focus on my health, and every day I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna get up and do some exercise. Okay, I'm gonna watch what I eat. I'm gonna go to the market. I'm gonna do this or whatever. And I just heard this quiet voice but strong voice, which I know was God, is do a 10K step walk. And I'm like, okay,
Isn't it funny how those downloads come to you where
yeah.
you're like, um,
Hmm.
okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah, but it gets your attention. Like it's quiet but strong at the same time.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, but then on the other side, doubt comes in. Like I don't want to start this and quit or whatever, right? So here I go trying to be hard on myself before I even get started with the 10K step. Then I heard another voice. Let your mommy's Tea Town community know. So now I'm like nervous, like, okay. So I put it out there and I was just amazed. And I started in September. I was just amazed at who wanted to do it with me.
Yeah.
Then I was amazed at how I transformed
Mm.
just from walking.
Yes.
The simplest things. When you talk about yoga with the breathing, how much you're breathing in and out when you're walking. And then that quiet time that you yearn for, begins. You have this quiet time along with this breathing time.
Yes.
Then, as the days go on, now you have your thoughts. It kind of gets quiet, and it's just you and your thoughts with nature. I never thought that I would talk like this, but just the process, the transformation of just doing 10K steps. Then you start getting downloads, and it's just like mind blowing how each day that you're just transforming. So now you feel good. Your body feels good. Your bowel movements and everything is just moving properly where they probably wasn't before. Just
And
everything in your
and that
body
is an
just starts.
issue with women.
Yes, and that was my issue.
It's a
Like it
very
was like,
common issue, like days without a proper yes, yes. Like
yeah. So
guys are like no big deal. Like I
yeah,
don't
it's so easy
understand,
for
but
them.
I think because we hold in so much stress,
Yes,
we bottle up so much because we're emotional beings. Where guys
yes,
let it out, where we
yes.
hold it in and we hold it in, and it affects our system.
It really does. I couldn't believe in a matter of probably like the first 21 days how I was transformed. And like you said, it becomes like at first it's like, oh gosh, let me get up and walk. And then it becomes a habit. And then you
Yes,
just start, I don't want to say fiending, but you just want that feeling because you feel so good. So now without a thought, you're just like getting up, you're just doing your steps and you're getting out of the way. And then I noticed that I started going past 10K steps. It
mhm.
started being 11K steps, then 14K steps, then 17K steps. Not on purpose. It's just that the
You're
action, the
enjoying
act,
it.
I
Yes,
started enjoying it. I started feeling good. I started not being so much on edge. I had 4 kids. I had preteens and teens. So I noticed that my reactions to them was different because before it was just like 0 to 1,000.
yes,
And then I noticed that I started being a little bit calmer and just even like situations that arise, I just noticed how different I was approaching them. And that was just from walking.
yes, yeah,
So guess what? I said, October, I'm going to do it again. And now it's just like, you know what? I can't stop. October is over here. We're in November. It's November the 4th. And I'm like, I'm not stopping because this feels good. Who
Yeah.
knew that that's just all that I needed? Just a simple walk. So when you were talking and just saying how the transformation happened, it's just funny how timing
Yeah.
is everything. Had you been on the show back in the
Mm.
earlier this year, it wouldn't connect the same way. So
Yeah.
I'm just amazed how God just lines up our guests for the show. The timing is everything. And you said something when you were speaking. I'm just taking action. I don't know where this is going. I don't know what this is. When you took that challenge for yourself, that 2 minutes a day, it was for this purpose right now.
Mm.
Whoever's listening today, it's like, oh my gosh, I needed to hear this from
Mm.
Ivy. I need to get up and walk again, whatever it is. Race, if they were into running, if they were into, I don't know, whatever their dreams was. Just you speaking today will allow someone to pick that back up.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and put down the things that may be hindering them and hurting them and keeping them from getting to their purpose. You said, okay, you drink, it wasn't out of control, but you knew it was something that you needed to let go.
Yeah.
So yeah, you didn't take long. Everything you said was so powerful. And when those things happen on the show, I just let the guests just go.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
go. Just go because it's needed. Someone needed to hear that this morning.
Yeah.
Look, I needed to hear that this morning. I say all the time, like, if nobody was empowered or inspired on this show, I am. Like, I get it firsthand. Like, I'm like in the conversation and I'm like enjoying it and I'm just listening. And then I'm taking notes within myself, like, oh, this is helping me.
This is just the little things. And I think, for people who are in the, personal development, they listen to, like, the audiobooks and all the things, the motivational stuff. You hear clips of things over and over again.
Yeah.
And like, I believe it was Jim Rohn, one of the things he said that landed on me like a ton of bricks. This was, I don't
Hmm.
know, maybe around that time, where he says, if you work on your job, you'll
Hmm.
make a living.
Yeah.
But if you work on yourself, you'll make a fortune.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, because we're
That's
told,
powerful.
go to work, earn
Hmm.
a paycheck and, stay at a
Hmm.
job until you retire, which that is not
Hmm.
even a thing anymore.
Anymore. Right.
Staying in a job 20 years. Some people do. It's there, but it's not common.
Oh
But
no.
that just was like, and I knew it wasn't fortune in the money sense and the financial sense. That could
Hmm.
be, you could definitely make more money by working
Yeah.
on yourself. But it was working, like really putting in the time to focus on you.
Yeah.
And that was just like a huge aha for me. Like, oh my, and
Yeah.
from that point on, I'm like, I'm putting more effort in me than I am in
Mhm.
a job. And I
Yeah.
tell my daughter, I tell everybody, go to
Yeah.
work. That
Yeah.
pays the bills. Go to
Right.
work. Do what
Right.
you need to do. You have your
Hmm.
responsibilities, your
Hmm.
your duties that you have to perform at the job. Do it. You get your
Yeah.
paycheck. That takes care of the things that the necessities. But
Right.
afterwards, work
Hmm.
on you.
Yes.
Read the books, go
Yeah.
for a walk, do
Yeah.
some stretching,
Hmm.
drink more water.
Yeah.
If you're, maybe even read the Bible. Like, I'm just getting back. This was like years I was detached. I went to Catholic school from kindergarten to high school and then
Hmm.
nothing for like, I don't know, 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
And now and it's not even that I'm coming back. I feel like I'm being pulled back. I'm being
Hmm.
called back. And this was like 2 years ago when there was like a shift happening, and everywhere I was in community, like they're talking about God, which years prior, nobody did.
Yeah.
Nobody in my circle talked about God. I knew people
Hmm.
went to church, but they never talked about God. So
Right.
now I'm in circles with people talking about God. They're leaning on God. They're reading scripture. I'm
Hmm.
hearing scripture. And I'm like, what's going on? Like,
Uh-huh.
what's going
Hmm.
on? And
Mhm.
I'm being stirred in ways like I would have to, if it was a summit, take myself off camera. I am sobbing. I'm like, what is
Yeah.
going on?
Yeah.
And I just felt like I was being called back
Mhm.
to, scripture. And I'm like, I don't even know where to start. And it started with this actually a couple of years ago. There's a gentleman, his name is Pedro
Okay.
Adeo, and
Mhm.
he does challenges. And
Okay.
every January, he does a 31-day wisdom challenge. It's free.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
tried it, I think 2 times. I make it halfway, and it's reading
Mhm.
the, book of Proverbs every day.
Okay. Yes.
That's it, the book of Proverbs. I didn't even know about that book. So
Uh-huh.
I joined the challenge, but it was last year that I stuck with it, and I
Yeah.
went further, and just things are changing. Things are
Yeah.
changing, and I'm like, I feel it. I
Yes.
know it just in every fiber of my being, like
Yes.
I'm being transformed in
Oh, yeah.
ways that I can't even explain. And
Yeah.
I say it like you hear like a lot of sports players when, they win an award or a trophy or whatever, and they say, "Oh,
Mhm.
I give all the glory to God." For the longest time, that would bother me. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Really? You can't say thank you, you
Just
have
thought
to
it was
say God."
cliche. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like but I got it. Like, I
Yeah.
got it because you don't have the gifts you have without him. He gave
Yeah.
those gifts to you. We all have a gift inside of us. We
Yes.
all have a desire inside of us that was given to us because he gave it to us because we're
Mhm.
equipped to achieve it. But
Yeah.
not until we do the little things every day to build self-confidence and trust
Yeah.
within ourselves will we know what that gift is and how to
Yeah.
step into it. I'm doing triathlons. Never in my life did I think that I was going to go in this direction. I still
Yeah.
don't know where it's taking me, but I'm
Yeah.
talking more, I'm speaking
Yeah.
more, I'm
Yeah.
sharing more, and it's like now every morning I'm doing this thing called Coffee Talk Live, and
Mhm.
I'm doing that, and that just started from, you know what, I should go live. Is I don't know, kind of like find my voice. I have no
Yeah.
idea. And I
Yeah.
did it. I'm doing it. And now it's like a couple of months and I'm like, holy moly, people are telling me like I love listening to. I'm like, whoa, okay. You don't even know people are watching. You don't know people are
Yep.
listening, but they are because
Yeah.
you're sharing you. You're just
Yeah.
being yourself. When you're
Yeah.
being yourself, then it just comes naturally. And you
Yep.
have to be comfortable, especially in this online space, just speaking to the void because a
Yeah.
lot of people watch and not a
Yeah.
lot of people comment. And then that
Yeah.
makes us feel like, well, nobody's commenting, so why should I even bother? And at the
Mhm.
beginning, that happens, and it's okay,
Mhm.
it's normal.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
then when you realize you just got to keep on, you just got
Yeah.
to keep on because it's more for you. It's
Yeah.
really more for you because now you're getting better and then you're speaking a little differently and then you're feeling better and all these things and you get better, which means you show up better and you show
Yeah.
up better for yourself and you show up better.
Yeah.
It's a snowball effect that you can't
It's
stop when you are stepping into you. But you
yeah.
can't step into you until you do little things consistently over time
Yeah.
because you can't do the big thing until you get the little things straight. You can't have a lot of
Yeah.
money until you start saving a little bit. These are
Yeah.
things that you learn along the way. I
Yeah.
wasn't taught this. I wasn't
Yeah.
taught any of this. I
Yeah.
got the you should go to college, do this, do that. Okay, I went to college. What's your major? I don't know, business. I had
Mhm.
no idea. And
Yeah.
believe
Yeah.
me, business was not. I had an accounting teacher pull me aside and he's like, Ivy, what's your major? I went,
Mhm.
it's business.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Mhm.
You might want to think about changing your major. I went,
Mhm.
oh my
Mhm.
gosh. But it was so true because everything was just going over my head. I was
Mhm.
doing something that I had no business doing because I just did it because I had no direction,
Yeah.
no
Mhm.
mentorship, no support, no blame to like my parents or anything. They were just
Right.
doing the best they could. They wanted me to go to school, so go to
Yeah.
school. But
Yeah.
what do I do? So now as
Um,
we grow and as we know better, then we teach better and we
yeah.
show up and
Yeah.
that's all we can do. You can
Yeah.
lead a horse to water, you can't make them drink, but if you keep on leading and keep on leading and keep on
Yeah.
leading and keep
Yeah.
on leading, you lead yourself first and
Yeah.
eventually they'll start to drink. And once they start to drink, they're like, "Oh, this is like really good. Like,
Mhm.
I didn't know how much I needed this."
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know, because that was me.
Yeah.
I was led and I didn't drink for the longest time until I did. And once I did, I'm like, "Oh my God,
Oh,
thank you. Oh my God, thank you." I say thank you all the time. All the
me
time.
too.
I'm walking,
Me
thank
too.
you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for this cup of coffee. Thank you for the
Yes.
computer. Thank you for the internet. I meet so many people. Like, thank you. Thank you for YouTube. YouTube.
Yeah.
Come
Yes.
on. That is
I've learned so
university,
much.
free university right
Yes.
there, YouTube. But you
Yes.
just have to watch the right things.
Exactly.
Watch the right things.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's just, my gosh. It's
It's mind blowing. It's
it
the
just a little it is very transformational. Just a
yeah.
little segue that ties into this. I had someone, it was actually my brother. He's just in a place in his life and he's like,
Mhm.
I just don't know what my purpose is. Like I'm trying
Mhm.
to find my purpose. That was me. And I think all of us at one time were like, what is it? What am I supposed to do? Where? And we're looking. That's when just doing what feels good to you first,
Yeah.
and then things start to kind of open up for you,
Mhm.
ideas and downloads start to come
Yeah.
because you're stepping into doing for you first.
Yeah.
But then I heard something, and one of the things I was listening to about purpose, and really the definition of purpose, if you don't know what your purpose is, and a lot of times we don't, the
Mhm.
first thing you want to do is be useful.
Yeah.
And when I heard that, it gave me chills.
Yeah.
Because when you help somebody else out, now again, when you come from scarcity,
Mm.
and you come from trauma, and you
Yeah.
come from lack, you don't
Mhm.
think about others. It's all about me. I got to take care of me. And how do I
Yeah.
make the rent? And how do
Mhm.
I,
Mhm.
until you get to a point and, people they're watching you. They see you growing. They
Yeah.
see you doing great things. You
Yeah.
don't have it all together. I don't have it all together, but I'm
Yes.
doing something. And so it's like, oh, now it's time to give back.
Mhm. Yep.
Got it. I
Bingo.
got it. It's being
Bingo.
useful. It's
Yep.
giving back. And now that's the next level growth. There's
Yeah.
so like a ladder.
It's
There's so
levels.
many
It's
rungs.
levels to it. Yes.
Oh my God. Like when I let go drinking, I knew that that was like ground zero, level one,
Yeah.
phase one. I was like, okay, now what? Now I
Mhm.
need to work on
Mhm.
me to
Yeah.
figure out who I am. And I
Yeah.
started with 2 minutes, just started with little things. So,
Yeah. I love it. I love it. So much what we talk about on here is just give ourselves grace
yes,
and just go through the process. You'll get to the purpose, but just go through the process and just have gratitude through the process. Because
yeah,
that's what I'm finding myself, just like Ivy said. It's like, thank you, God. Thank you for this. Thank you this. Oh, wow. Like he show you something. He's like, oh, thank you, God. Like, because I'm really trusting him to lead me with everything. I'm 45 years old. And I'm like, at this point, I done tried everything on my own. And this is where it got me. And I'm just like, look, I'm putting fully my trust in you. Whatever you say, I'm going to do, I'm going to go. And that's where am right now in life. And when you said, um, j- just, I forget, it's so many. I'm just trying to catch so many
I was
nuggets
talking
that
back.
you gave. Yeah, that you gave. But just go through the process.
Yeah,
Just the
you gotta take a
transformation
step.
will blow your mind
You
each
got to
step.
take a step. It's
Yeah,
easy to
it's
sit back and dream and think and wish and,
yeah,
one day.
yeah.
The one day is not going to come if you
And
don't take
take
one action step. And that could
one.
be researching.
Yes,
For some people, that in and of itself is
yeah,
like, ooh, I'm actually going to do something for me. Like
yeah,
I'm going to look something up that I am
yeah,
interested in.
yeah,
It's like, but once
yeah.
you break through, it's like this invisible thing. And once you break through, you're like, that wasn't so bad. What
Nope.
else can I find out?
Mhm.
Just put
Mhm.
it in the search bar. How do I get out of? How
Yes,
do I let go of? How
yes,
do I forgive? How do I,
yeah,
all these things? And things will come up, and just read, just start reading and
mhm,
listening and doing for you,
yep,
because then you start to like think that your mind starts to open and expand.
yeah,
We are created to expand. That's why we want more. That's
Yeah.
why we dream and we
Yeah.
desire, but
Yeah.
not until we do something,
Yeah.
we'll still be in the same place.
Yes.
We want
Yeah.
to live a different year each year, not the
Yeah.
same year every year.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
growth there.
No.
People ask me all the time, like, why do you challenge yourself so much? Like, you all do these. Do you think it's because you let go alcohol that that's why you're doing all these challenges? And
Nope.
I'm like, no. But I had to think about that. Like, it
Mm-hmm.
bothered me, that
Yeah.
question, in a good
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Well, I was right. Like, I was authentic in my response. Like, no, I'm not doing that because I let go of
Mm-hmm.
alcohol, but
Mm-hmm.
because I let go of alcohol, now I'm free to like do things that I wouldn't have
Yeah.
done before because alcohol was a priority.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was more fun. And what
We
happens
should.
when you drink too much? You ain't doing anything.
You're not doing nothing. Right.
Mm-mm.
You should be changing every day. Every day is a choice. But some people are intimidated by that,
Yes.
by your growth, by your change. And when you start to change your circle and you start to move different and look different, that makes some people uncomfortable.
Yes.
And they
It
try
made
to
me
throw,
uncomfortable.
yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. It makes them uncomfortable. But you should be changing and wanting to better yourself each and every day. And as I say all the time on here, every day is a choice.
Hmm.
Even if you made the bad choice yesterday, tomorrow is another day to make a choice.
Uh-huh.
And that's what I do every day, to make a choice,
Yeah.
because the healing process and the transformation is a daily, it's a daily work that
Yeah.
we do on ourselves,
Yeah.
to make a choice to be a better person, to be a positive person, to even be healed, to make a choice to be healed, to
Hmm.
make a choice to not even pick up that alcohol, to make a choice to not even fall into depression, to make a choice to just pour into ourselves. It was one time I felt bad if I focused on myself,
Yeah.
because I had 4 kids, a husband, and my kids are very close in age. And I felt like if I took a second to even think of myself, that it would be taken away from them. Do I still feel like that sometimes? Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I have to constantly tell myself, it's okay. It's okay. You can buy that shirt for yourself. It's okay if you can go get your nails done this day. It's okay if you want to go get a massage. It's okay if you want to take 15 minutes outside to go for a walk. Your kids will be okay. Your husband will be okay when you come back. It's okay. Not
Yeah.
taken away from them, because if you're
That's
not
a big
okay,
one.
yeah,
That's a big one.
if you're not okay, then your household is not okay. Your kids are not okay. Your husband is not okay, because you have to be your full self.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm. Yeah,
and
because
this was
we're
good.
told when we're young, don't be selfish.
Yeah,
Don't be selfish. Oh, you're
yeah,
all about yourself. You're
yeah,
conceited.
yeah,
When
yeah,
so now it's all these labels. So
yeah,
when we're an adult, we feel that. Well,
yeah,
if I do for me, that I'm being selfish.
mm,
There's
yeah,
two, trains of thought there. There is the selfish part that some people are. They're all about themselves and they don't care about you. And then
yeah,
there's the part of taking care of yourself
yeah,
so that the people around you can feel that,
mm,
like you said, you go for a walk and you feel better. You
yeah,
you're less reactive. You
yeah,
you take a second, whereas before it was like, "Rah." Whereas
yeah,
now it's like, but because you're being selfish and
yeah,
taking, and it doesn't have to be like take a day.
yeah,
You can take 5 minutes.
yes. Two
Go
minutes, like you
shower.
said earlier.
Oh,
2 minutes.
yes. And you could breathe. You don't even have to stretch. You could sit and just,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
breathing, especially when you want to scream and you're
yeah,
overwhelmed, is so incredibly and people are like, really breathing? Yes, yes, we breathe and we don't think about it. It's
mm,
conscious breathing.
yeah.
It's stepping. It's
It is a thing.
and then
Yeah,
holding it, and then
Mhm.
slowly letting it out. And you
Yeah.
do that as long as you need until that shift happens.
Mhm.
And because what it does is it calms the nervous system.
It does. It
Yeah.
really feels good. It does.
And then you could speak to your family, you know. But yes, so there's so much we can do. But
Yeah.
the main thing for ladies is one, you need to take a couple of minutes for you, no matter what, every day. And if 2 minutes in the morning before everyone gets up, 2 minutes before you know it, it's and just sit on the floor and just
Yeah.
stretch, just move. Set the
Yeah.
timer, just move,
Yeah.
and then go, huh, okay. I don't really feel anything, but okay, do that for a few weeks. Then you're going to start to like feel something, and it's going to happen more here and then here. So do for you first and foremost, and then everyone else will be happy because of it, because you
Yeah.
took care of you.
Yeah. This show is so inspiring.
We could
I
go on
mean,
for an
it really, yeah, it really took a left, but it took a good left. And I love when the show does that. I don't interrupt. I don't try to make it go any other way. Because God's plan for everything is just on time. And whoever needed to hear this today, that maybe just be home, just making breakfast this morning for the kids, and they hear Ivy speaking, and that seed, that little seed that just say, take action, take 2 minutes,
yeah.
just breathe. Oh, she kicks sobriety. I can kick it too. Um, I am just so filled. Ivy, when Ivy speaks, it's so calming. calming. When she speaks, it's just like you just want to listen,
Oh,
and it just draws you in and just draws you in, and you just want to just know more and more and more about this person because her spirit is so sweet. It's so genuine. And I say to all the ladies in our group, is like, Ivy is my girl. She was my girl before I even like knew her, met her in person. I said, that's my girl. Because she spoke to me just even just through social media, just through the screen, not even in person. So when she spoke earlier about just being your authentic self, sometimes people just think they have to put on a facade or a show when they turn the camera on. And what they don't realize, people can see right through that. But when you be your authentic self, you are drawn to the people that God has for you to speak to. And I love that Ivy does coffee tea time on social media. You never know who's rooting for you. Like she said earlier, they might not put a comment, they might not like, but you never know who's listening, who's watching. Yes, and when she does her videos, I'll be like, yes, yes, you did it. Because it's so authentic. It's not made up.
yeah,
It's not with the makeup and the production. It's just her walking, talking. It's just her in her living room, her tea, her coffee cup. It's just so authentic. Yes. So I love that she said that because that is important.
yeah,
Just be yourself. It's so many people doing talk time, tea time, coffee time, podcasts,
yeah,
whatever. But people are drawn to you. It's not the podcast. It's not the social media. It's not the product. It's you that people are drawn to. So be your authentic self. Take action. We say all the time, just get started.
yes,
One step at a time. Yes, God may download and show you the bigger picture, the end, but go through the process. And sometimes going through the process is not easy. You may have some down days. Trust you may have some down days, and it's okay. Give yourself grace. Just don't stay there, right? Just don't stay there. And if you were inspired or just empowered or ignited to that give you that push to get motivated, because that's what Mommy Tea Time is about. Is let's talk motivation, because we want to get you motivated. We want you to start. We want you to take action. So if you were inspired today by Ivy, we're going to let Ivy tell us where we can find her, where we can connect with her, any up and coming events that she has, times that she goes on her coffee talk time. Just give us all that information, Ivy, so the listeners can connect with you.
Okay. Um, I'll keep it short. The best way really is Facebook. My profile page, I don't get fancy. I'm not there yet to get fancy, and I'm keeping it simple. My profile page in the mornings, I do coffee talk time.
Yeah,
And it's just miscellaneous topics. Sometimes it's whatever's on my heart and I talk about it. And
yeah,
then sometimes, I've thought about something and I'll bring it, to the forefront. But Facebook is really the best way right now, actually, as we're in November. I just started on November 1st, a 12-week challenge, which is the first time I'm doing a lengthy challenge. I've done 5, but this one is different. As much as I talked about today, simple daily success habits. I'm all about working out, eating,
yes,
healthy. I'm not perfect, but eating healthy and
yes,
doing all the things. It's not about that per se. It's
yes,
doing the little things. One thing on there that is a requirement is 2 minutes of stretching a day,
yes,
which easy to do, easy
yes,
not to do. But the
yes.
thing is, especially this time of year, we're coming into Thanksgiving, then it's
Mm-hmm.
Christmas, you got all the
Yes,
parties, all the shindigs, all the
yes,
stress that comes with this time of year. That
yes,
2 minutes, it's gonna like, I'll do it later. I'll do it
yes,
later. But when you're in a
yes,
group, in a community, it kind
mm,
of helps to keep you focused and on track. So that's what
yes,
I'm doing right now.
yes,
12 weeks. It's called 12-week confidence shift. And it's
yes,
all little things to build self-confidence and trust within yourself.
yes,
Simple habits done daily.
yes,
And that's my challenge right now.
yes.
And
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 that's a
that's on my
good
page
challenge.
as well.
See how she's like, that's just my challenge right now. That is a good challenge. It is needed.
Yeah.
So get with her if you're interested. Try the challenge. Yes, she's on Facebook. And she's gonna be doing more for 2025. Ivy is just so one step at a time. I'm not getting ahead of myself. It is what it is. And I'm like, go.
Because when we do that, we stress ourselves out. And I got
Yeah,
to a point that I actually
yeah,
stressed out my family with all this stuff online. I'm like,
yeah,
I got to do a live. I got to do
yeah,
this. And I'm
yeah,
stressing. And then I'm like, you know what? Whatever. It's
yeah,
just whatever. I'll
yeah,
coffee in the morning. I'll
yeah,
do it in the morning. I could do
yeah,
that. I could do that.
yeah,
I could do that. You
yeah,
could do 2 minutes. So when we find something that we're like, I, I could do that, do it.
yeah,
Do it. And from it, you just never know. You just never know what he has for you because that came on your heart to like,
yeah,
I can do it. He's
mm-hmm,
like, yes, do it.
yeah,
Do it. Because I
yeah,
have something for you that you don't even know what it is.
yes.
We don't know, but we
And
want
that's
to
what
get there.
keeps me excited because I'm like, I don't know where I'm going with this, but I'm just going. I'm being
And we have to say
obedient.
thank you
Yes,
for it. We're
yes,
like, God, I don't know what you have in store for me. Like right now, for a lot of women, it's like you're going through stuff, like
yes,
bad. You're going through
yes,
stuff. And it's like,
yes,
okay, this sucks. I don't like
yes,
this at all. But you have something for me. I don't know what it is, but you have
yes,
something for me. Thank
yes,
you for whatever that is.
yes,
I'm thanking you
yes,
for what's to come. And
yes.
when you do that, it shifts you because
It does. It
gratitude is a higher frequency for abundance. It
it
just is.
definitely is. It is. Yeah,
No.
and it feels not to know it feels good to be here. That's why I love this show because it's really a tea conversation. It really is transformation. It's empowering, and it gets you want to affirm some things in your life. It gets you to move. So I love these tea conversations. I just love how God sends the right people, the right messages, and I'm just excited for the listeners because I'm like, this is good. Another week. This is good. Like, God, you did it. You did it. This is what Mommy Tea Time is all about. So I have been transformed. I have been empowered by Ivy, and I'm ready to keep on affirming greatness in my life. This was a great show, guys, and we can't end the show without our affirmation for the week. And our affirmation is I am resilient, strong, and empowered. I overcome challenges, trust in my journey, and live each day with purpose, inspiring others to do the same. So that is our affirmation for the week. You write it down, say it over and over again, memorize it, really feel each and every word. And I hope that that inspires you and gets you through the week. Join us every Monday morning at 9 a.m. as we have an awesome tea conversation every week. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next week.